Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to discuss chapter number 15 of Mary Barton novel by Elizabeth Gaskell. In this chapter number 15, its title is Violent Meeting Between the Rivals. So, girls, here this particular title, as it's evident here, as this title is showing us that there would be a violent meeting among two characters, the two lovers of Mary Barton, that is Jem Wilson as well as Henry Carson. So in this chapter, as it is beginning with John Barton's depressed state after London visit, he is not able to relieve himself from the mortified thoughts of the insult of workmen in London Parliament, and he is losing the equilibrium between his brain and his body. That equipoise is not there very much. He is not in that very much good state right now, and when he is at home, he has a suffocating feeling as the walls are going to crush him, and he has all sorts of negative views of that are attached to a workman's plight in Manchester township of that particular era. These negative views or these negative thoughts are leading to his ailment and slow death. He is tormenting himself to the extent that he has started heavily intoxicating, and this distress or this despair mood is an excuse. This distressful life, here he is trying to cope up with this distressful life with an excuse of intoxication. Another thing is that he is very much concerned about the fate of a whistleblower. So whistleblower is a person who sort of reports a problem or violation of the particular rules by the authority. So here the plight of whistleblower is evident here, with made evident by Elizabeth Gaskell with the character of John Barton, as he has raised his voice against the masters of this particular industry. So he is nowhere entertained. He is not able to get job anywhere. He is not taken as an employee by anyone, because he has become the leader of various trade unions, and also he is one of the prominent speakers in the meetings of workmen trade unions. So in this text, girls, where this John Barton character is thinking deeply about the plight of poor people, here Elizabeth Gaskell has used intertextuality. Rather, it is in some critical books by some critics, it is also said that this novelist Elizabeth Gaskell misused intertextuality when she is making a reference of another novel, that is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. So here she is equating the qualities of the demon Frankenstein, as he was made feel outcast. In that same way, these poor people are made feel outcast from the society, as well as they are denied soul by the authorities. That means they are denied any emotions, any kind of expressions in their dealing with these workmen. So girls, next thing is here how John Barton is thinking about that power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's a saying by Einstein, and whereas this particularly how the dealings of these workmen at the hands of their particularly their employers, that is compared to the use of absolute power and how it is corrupting absolutely their behavior. Next thing is that is discussed in this book, in this particular chapter of this book, chapter number 15, girls. So that is how class disparity is deep rooted in Victorian society, as the masters, they are seen doing well and like gentlemen lived at home at ease while they were starving, gasping on from day to day. This is a quotation, to quote and unquote. This is a quotation from page number 171 in my book. So this sort of class disparity, there is a gulf between rich and poor. It is very much thought about or very much critically acclaimed by John Barton's character. Another thing that he is thinking about, low wages, how instead of their constant work, for instead of their longer hours of work at factories, even after that, girls, they are not given sufficient wages, and that thing is making them, or that is leading towards their starvation. So here they are these employers are being particularly, they are again compared with Spartans. Spartans were known for their bravery in ancient Greek. This is also, you can say, it's a misproportionate reference is made here. So on next page, girls, in my book, there is an evidence that a strike in Manchester is going on due to constantly given low wages to the weavers. And another thing here is that Carson's and other employers, they are not at all very much appreciating this strike or the causes of the strike or the things that are happening with the poor people. They are rather very much ferociously, they are against labor elders. So Mr. Carson, he is elder. Mr. Carson elder, he remains unmoved. His sentiments cannot be heightened. They were not be poor people were not able to heighten his emotions by revealing their true conditions. Whereas the young Mr. Carson, he takes it as an adventure. This strike seems to a very adventurous thing to him. So particularly there are some police beatings of the workers on strike, the weavers. Another thing is that a cooperation of workers is also here mentioned by Elizabeth Gaskell, that in such a pathetic plight they are not, their unity cannot be break by the all sorts of atrocities. Next thing is that some weavers wrote a letter and asked the employers to hold a meeting with their leader, that is Mr. Barton. So this organized meeting is ultimately going to lead to the murder of Mr. Carson Jr. The next thing is there is a rift, or there is a changed expression, or the difference between the expression of the young workers and old workers is shown here. How the young men, these workers, are unflinching resistance. They are claiming much more violence. They are very much bravely, they are seeking violence or seeking their rights. They are seeking for their rights before their employers. At the other hand, girls, that is Harry Carson, he becomes more violent with Mary Barton as he is relating his his focus of attention, or his focus on that particular girl, or his interest in that girl is now much more leading to the violent behavior of this boy, that is Henry Carson. On the other hand, Jem has still not met Mary since he has been staying in Manchester since a long time after their conversation, after their confrontation with each other over love relationship. Even after that, they have not been able to meet for a longer time period. Here, a new love relationship is also shown, that is in air between Will Wilson and Margaret, and Elizabeth Gaskell to her mastery. There is a remarkable change, remarkable, and I would like to add noticeable change in Margaret's behavior, her demeanor, as how she is looking at Will Wilson, and whereas Will Wilson's emotions, his sentiments are very much truthful towards her. Ultimately, Jem Wilson wants to meet Mr. Carson, that is Henry Carson, and a conversation goes between them, and in which conversation Henry Carson humiliates Mary Barton on the face of this boy Jem Wilson, as he is not able to tolerate all those things, those humiliating words for Mary Barton, as Henry Carson calls her a flirt, a little hussy. So all these terms somewhere motivates rage, anger in Jem Wilson's behavior. So all these things, they ultimately he has to reveal himself that he is not the brother or father of that girl, rather being a very true friend of Mary Barton, he has come to meet Henry Carson. If you have any intentions of marrying that girl, or you are just having a casual affair or having a very flirtatious affair with her, or you want to spoil her, then he again warns him that if such manipulations are going on in his mind, then he should drop them at that moment. Otherwise, he would not be left with his particularly ill thoughts or his exposure towards all these things. He won't be given any chance to particularly execute his planning of manipulating the chastity or the virtue of that innocent girl, that is Mary Barton. So this is it, girls. It's your chapter number 15, full summary of your chapter number 15, and the very much significant portions, if I am talking about in this chapter, some portions are very important, that are of when John Barton is thinking about the plight of poor people. There are one or two intertextual references that is really significant for class disparity as well as plight of poor people or the workmen, as well as the mindset or the behavior of rich people or employers. So you must read it for your long question. And on the other hand, this particular scene between Jem Wilson and Henry Wilson, this meeting between these two young people, it is very significant because it's going to emerge as a great change in the plot of the novel. So please do read it very carefully. Thank you so much.